Is your special someone, your sweetheart, your desired partner, actually aware that he played with you? Is there any sign of remorse? Does he know what he has done? Did he do it on purpose? And now let's take a look at the energy. We are tapping into the energy of the present moment, the most prominent energy that wants to reveal itself in response to this question. And I took this question from the comments because there were always a lot of people writing things like, he played with me, and yes, I'm just second choice, things like that. So I thought, let's just do a reading now to see whether your special someone is actually aware that he played with you. And that's what we're going to look at now. A very warm and loving hello to all of you. A big heartfelt hug to you. And thank you so much for your kindness once again in the comments. It's just so wonderful. And also all the super thanks. I truly thank you. But I am just totally wow. Wow. Thank you so, so much for that, my dears. And my dears, you know, we are working with the collective. The person cards are gender neutral. This is your counterpart, whether male or female. And a collective reading can't apply to everyone, but I know you pick out what resonates with you. And that doesn't mean, yeah, no matter what kind of reading it is. Yes. I also read again recently, it was about work. And there the area of work is simply not meant for you if you are no longer employed or in a working relationship. We are working with the collective. And that always means taking from it what fits you and your situation, right? But I know you do that absolutely wonderfully, and you are wonderful, every single one of you. So, and now I'm sending you lots of positive energy, lots of light and love, and a big heartfelt hug. Now I'm focusing on the question. You are your special someone. Are they aware that they played with you? Let's take a look now at what is being shown. So what do we have here? We have five of the coins. Do you see this? 5 of Pentacles. So this already very clearly shows your special someone's insecurity. And a major theme here is rejection and fear of loss. So this is about loss because your special someone is carrying quite a lot of worries inside, things that are really weighing on them, things that are truly going on. And yes, that's definitely an issue for them as well. We'll take a closer look at what exactly it is, because there's something here. Maybe it's that they don't really feel completely excluded. There's something there, something circling inside them that doesn't feel right, because this is definitely about fear of loss. So I'd say that's a really big issue here. Now that we're on this topic, asking whether he's aware that he's playing with you. And we want to know the background. What's really going on there? What's happening inside him? And that's what we always look for, and it always shows up in the readings. And you know, I always say everything that the cards reveal. And, okay, then let's continue in a relaxed way. We have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords also appears. He's in conflict. He's completely in conflict here. And it's about, yes, maybe he's also experienced injustice, had to experience it. And it could also be that he can't handle criticism, right? So something about criticism, that's also a topic for him. And there's some deception involved. I always say there's deception on the outside and also self-deception. He's somehow fooling himself too, right? So I'm curious to see what else we'll get here, what's really going on. Ugh, okay. So what else do we have? We have the Devil. So with the Devil, I'd say there's something going on, something coming from the outside that he maybe doesn't want to look at. Because he keeps getting tempted. Maybe he keeps falling into that temptation again and again. He definitely has shadow issues of his own. And those shadow issues are also being revealed, they're being shown as well. And I see him as being very materialistic. Maybe he's focused on material things, and perhaps he's been triggered again and again in different areas, which is also a shadow issue for him. But the material aspect, it's like he's been programmed to keep responding to material things over and over again. And we have a dependency on his issues. Something keeps holding him back here, something he doesn't want to face. And that's where the doubt comes in. Maybe he even doubts himself. And this self-doubt brings us back to the topic of feeling excluded. Or maybe feeling like he has to prove something. So, phew. I'd say that what's definitely influencing him here is something from the outside. He or she keeps falling back into this relapse, like a temptation, right? So there's always something here about running away. Well, I'm really curious to see what's actually going on, whether he's aware of it, and if so, what exactly is happening? What's going on inside him in this area, so that you can gain some clarity for yourself as well. Now, of course, in the collective, right? What might actually be going on with him or her? So, yes, feeling unloved, we've definitely seen that quite clearly before. Ah, I see. Yes, he definitely doubts himself. That's also a really big issue for us. I'd say the public has a really big issue with this too. This need to be seen. What did I just do now? I've just made some kind of mistake in the system here. Let's do this completely differently now. Sorry, we'll have it sorted in just a moment. There. Yes. So for your special someone, your sweetheart, your desired partner, the issue of rejection is a really big topic. Not making any mistakes, presenting oneself outwardly. Withdrawal. Exactly. So I'd say there's a lot going on inside him or her. So with your special someone, we definitely have an issue when it comes to the past. There's a theme of loss present. Loss means, from what I see with your special someone, in the family area, I keep sensing this feeling of being pushed aside, of being closed off, especially when it comes to opening the heart. And that's something he or she always runs away from themselves. It's always about his own success, proving something different, showing off, and again he slips into the material side of things. Yes, material matters are a really big issue for your special someone. But here's the thing, he doesn't know any different. He doesn't know any different and was always conditioned to focus on material things, So he has to show himself with material things. He also defines himself through material things. That's how I see your special someone, because he focuses on, yes, this superficiality. On the surface, when it comes to love, he's definitely just skimming along here. And the issue of rejection keeps coming up. Rejection is a big issue for him, something he's always really afraid of. Fear of rejection, and that's where he closes himself off. Closed off in general in communication, and especially when it comes to love. He or she finds it very, very difficult to express love. We can clearly see, yes, he is aware of it, but keeps pushing it away because on the heart level, I see the connection with you. And there are always points of contact, and I see disappointment. He knows what he has done, but he keeps running away from it. He closes himself off, avoids having clarifying conversations with you. But that's because of fear, the fear he has, and that's why he always runs away. The fear your loved one has to clear things up with you. Because deep down, I see him as so insecure and restless that he actually feels very small. And yes, there is definitely also external influence on your loved one when it comes to other people. I would say for him or her, it's like this. He has friends, and I see here false friends. You know, friend or friends, it could be singular or plural, right? There is definitely a person, whether or not they're still in contact, who is still completely anchored in him, in his behaviors. And with him, it's like he's constantly trying to prove himself. This was modeled for him in the past, or is still being modeled for him now. Show no feelings, run away, push everything aside, don't let anyone get too close. And here too, he sometimes defines himself through sexuality, at least in some cases. You know, I don't necessarily see here that everything has to fit together perfectly. You know, it's collective. But yeah, these are the issues, you know, showing with oneself to others, like running away from oneself. We can see that clearly here. And again, there's the influence from outside, from someone else, what has been modeled for him, or what he might still be seeing now. He's actually running away from himself. Running away from himself. That's what I see with him. He's actually running away from love. And he always tries, maybe he buys a lot or spends money carelessly, spends more money than he actually earns. And those are feelings of happiness. He always gets that for himself. It's like a kind of compensation that he repeats. And what happened with you, that's something that keeps repeating itself. This isn't the first time, but he's really running away from himself because he definitely has this issue of, oh God, something serious? Maybe you were even in a relationship, right? But there was always a lack of lightness and then suddenly gone, right? Break up, cut, over, done, running away. Because he was just about to completely let go. He no longer knew how to handle it himself, what he should do now, because he's running away from himself, from his feelings, from letting go. I saw him lying here completely tense and uptight. And there he clearly shows something different on the outside than what's really going on, because that's his or her secret, what's happening inside him, what's really going on. Because I also see the person he loves lying here, that maybe on the outside he shows, wow, I'm the hero, I'm the king, you know, the world belongs to me. But that's not the case, because he himself, I've got him here like some kind of entertainer. Outwardly, he shows something completely different, this entertainment persona. Hey, so-and-so, you know, that's just the surface. But because he's afraid to open his heart, to go into heart opening, because for him, opening his heart means getting hurt. Opening the heart means getting hurt, and then you get pushed away. A very strong fear of loss. And that's why he or she is always the one to make the cut. Ending the relationship, breaking off contact, and this back and forth. Because he wants to keep control out of fear. I mean, in the end, he's hurting himself. But for him, being abandoned is absolutely terrible. And these are issues from his past. Always pushed aside, being left behind, you know? So this, maybe never really receiving that love. Always this cry for love. Maybe in childhood, because I see issues from the past are very dominant with this person close to your heart. And that's why he always tries to keep control, right? He'd rather, oh God, run away quickly, end everything fast, because the worst thing, and he always tries to protect himself from this, is being abandoned. And he always puts on an act as well. As I said, in public, in front of others, he always lets himself be influenced back from the outside. And yes, I have a very clear yes here. He is aware of it, because you are still in his heart. There is still something there, and not just some tiny little thing, you know? No, there is actually much more there, because his heart keeps reaching out to communicate with him. And in that communication, it is definitely you. But he is afraid of it. He closes himself off. As I said, he is also quite reserved in communication, very tense. So I really notice a complete lack of lightness in him. And yes, he regrets it. I sense regret, I sense guilt, and I feel it very clearly directed towards you. And that's also what is actually eating him up inside. Because there is love. The connection is there. And in his thoughts, you are still present. So there, from that point of view, there is nothing, this icy cold. He might be showing icy coldness. But that's just a shield he's putting up, which I find totally ridiculous, seeing it here at this shield that he's built up now, because it's not real. I have false worries, false fears, false thoughts, all sorts of things. Always keeping everything secret, right? You don't need to say anything more, and always be present, always look good, right? Always getting this recognition here and constantly having the ego stroked, getting your butt kissed, and so on and so forth. But even with the butt powdering, I always have a few fountains here. How did that really spray the powder on her butt? The powder, blow the powder on her butt again, right? Really, and then we have the hurt again. Then he tenses up again, withdraws again, and then, hey, I'm the entertainer. I'm going to go back out there now, and I'm going to do this, that, and the other, right? That's how I have him lying there. Definitely remorse, absolutely, absolutely certain. He just has a really hard time apologizing, admitting to it, because apologizing always makes him feel so small, really small. And that's where he lacks the strength. That's where he lacks self-confidence. So I really don't want to defend him here, I mean, he does have quite a checkered past, and he's definitely no innocent angel here, But on the inside, things look very different for him. As I said, I can always see in the cards what's going on inside him or her, what's really going on, what he or she is keeping secret. And in his case, he's really hiding the fact that he has a major issue with himself. And that is fear of opening his heart. Opening his heart equals getting hurt. That's what he associates with it. He tries to keep all of that on the surface. But you do have that heart connection, and that's what he's running away from. It was always like that whenever you had contact, Whenever you met up, it was always really nice, absolutely wonderful. But then it was like a repetition, like an addictive behavior, I would say, with always showing them coldness, right? This, hey, I'm cold, or no one can get close to me. And you can always see very clearly that there's a strong heart connection there. And that's exactly what he always runs away from. He's an absolute runner. I mean, he basically has a whole shelf full of the coolest, most awesome, best sneakers. So he can always swap them out in whenever the sole wears down on one pair. So, wow. Now let's see what else we can pick up here in terms of the tendency, what's really going on. So we have the moon. And with the moon, what are his fears? Yes, he also reacts hypersensitively to that, but I see him on the way, moving slowly. So here we have someone who moves more in the pedestrian zone and does this very slowly, right? First, this observing, very carefully feeling things out. Stepping into new territory is then the biggest change ever for him. And that's when the doubt comes in. I see the fears, I see the doubts in him. He even doubts whether he will ever truly be lucky. This is that luck. The false luck that he sees. He sees it like this. Everything he does is right. But it always has a very, very bitter, nasty, and unpleasant aftertaste, this falsehood. This because he keeps waking up and again in the repetition, bam, he really gets hit with it. It gets pushed deep inside him. I keep seeing the hurt, the disappointment, even though he tries to run away from it. But this coldness inside him, he shows something different on the outside, less, as I said, than what is really going on inside him. And there, the man is in conflict with himself, this process of detachment. But I definitely see movement change in this detachment because I also see activity with your loved one. And now we have confirmation of that here as well. It's his fears. And he doesn't trust himself. And there's always this hypersensitivity, which he also tries not to show. He can also get offended quickly and then just slam the door and leave, like, leave me alone, you know? Now I'm sulking. I'm offended. But he is on his way. What he's suppressing, he can't really keep down much longer because it's like a pile, like a manure pile, I'd say. More and more manure keeps getting piled on top, and it gets so big that at some point it has to be taken away, has to be disposed of, because at some point that's it, you know? You can't add anything more. Nothing else will fit on top. And that's where he is now. That's really where he is. He's trying to suppress everything and bottle it all up inside. But he will find the courage and this clarity, because little by little, clarity is starting to come to him again. A small glimmer of hope, a tiny spark of light. And that keeps happening because every time his thoughts are with you, there's always, yes, this touch to the heart, right? He knew you too. He hasn't forgotten you either. Definitely not. Forgetting you is absolutely out of the question. So what else do we have? We have the Queen of Wands. With the Queen of Wands, we also see, yes, his strength of will is being shown, and he will regain this optimism, this courage. Here we have courage once again, to gather the courage, because he keeps experiencing this touch, this compassion from you, as if he keeps taking a little example from your personality, your warmth. But he really needs that, because that's what he keeps needing as, yes, as a kind of guidance, so that he can find this courage, because he truly lacks warmth and security himself. And yes, he feels cut off there. And he also knows that he is shutting you out. And that's this insecurity. And so he keeps trying to isolate his heart from all of it. By the way, he also always sees others very strongly as competition in general, especially when it comes to material things. That's why he always shows something different on the outside and, yes, doesn't show himself as he really is. What you might see or pick up on, that's all put on, you know? And it's like something he's adopted, something that's been instilled in him from the outside, from others, you know? And as I said, he does feel that sense of devotion, and that feeling of remorse keeps coming up, that bad conscience, your devotion, what you gave, your warmth of heart, and he ran away. And yes, I have feelings of guilt for what he did, for always pushing you away. Here we have a definite yes. And as I said, it's always that touch of the heart, you know? And there we also have the heartache. We even see lovesickness in him. Dear ones, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and wish you a wonderfully beautiful rest of your day. Feel warmly embraced. Goodbye.